Yeah, so I think convenience is very important. But if you're working at 192, you're gonna load 4 plugins and your computer's gonna explode.
Don't give these haters ammunition. Huh? Don't give these haters ammunition. We just had a great convo about it. Check out the previous episode. Long story short, you sample rate haters are wrong. You'll always be wrong.
We're gonna put some of the stuff that Sam said. We're gonna put some of that stuff behind the paywall because that was a lot of good information.
Because there's a lot of y'all uneducated people. Once again, it's okay. Stupid, bro. I'm not gonna do that because at the end of the day, you make music however you want to make. The only thing I have a problem with is stop telling people what the right and wrong way to make music is, because there is none.
Facts. And that leads me to this rant.
No,
right?
Okay.
No.
I'm introducing this podcast. You're gonna take 4 years.
I don't care. No, I'm not.
This is the My Audio Nerds podcast.
Wait. I'm not letting you start.
Let me introduce the podcast.
Listen to me.
Oh my God.
Some of y'all people, right? And I've been waiting to get this one off, right?
Oh boy.
God. He's been waiting.
You know, me and Courtney been at war with some of the comments. You know, we're not like you. You've been out here.
I don't read the comments. It's a dangerous place to go.
I really would like I love our comment section because our comment section is very, very. It's funny. First of all,
it's hilarious.
They're very invigorating. I'll say that.
It's a bunch of like-minded. Some people are smart, but no. It's a bunch of people who we're all passionate about.
That's very true. Thing. Everybody's passionate at the end of the day.
We all have a similar goal. We all want the same thing. Negative 10 loves. That's all we all want.
Okay.
But stop. There are certain people. Stop confusing the gear for the ear. I know we make the dog wars a thing.
That's a bar.
What do you say?
Stop confusing the gear for the ear.
The gear will never be.
He wrote this.
Yes, I probably did. The gear will never be more important than the ear. And I say this because I went back and forth with somebody until I realized, and once I said it, it was like, with some of you commenters, right? It's so easy to figure out when y'all are bogus because y'all don't expect us to speak back. And when we do speak back, y'all fold like binders. It's bad. Because there's this guy and he was like, yo, and it was under a satire video. Okay. It was the Master Chain video.
I seen someone take that serious. I seen a few people take that serious.
And he was just like, well, he's recording an NFL. I can't even yada yada. Professional people don't use FL yada yada yada. And I said the same thing. Yo, y'all are confusing the gear for the ear because a lot of y'all went to that a lot of y'all went through Wavy Wayne's what you call it?
Wavy Seals Elite.
Yeah, Wavy Seals Elite in the sense of y'all all learned how to engineer. A lot of y'all went to Full Sail. A lot of y'all went to a lot of y'all are part of the AES and a lot of y'all learned, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. But a mediocre Pro Tools engineer is not better than an amazing FL engineer. You know what I mean? Totally. That's what I'm saying. Why are y'all putting the gear before the ear? That's all it is.
Here's my thing, right? Mm-hmm. We have the privilege to talk to a lot of smart people, right? We do, right? That's why I don't go into the comments. And that's why I tell y'all not to bother going into the comments. Because guess what people are trying to do? Whether you're talking about audio, whether we're talking about Bruce Willis, whether we're talking about entertainment news, guess what people in the comments are looking to do to the people they listen to every day? They're just trying to get a rise out of you.
And it's not a personal thing because, like I said, it takes one comment back to know how people, what temperature it is. But I'm seeing this, it's not just in our comment section in a sense. I'll see a Weaver Beats or I'll hear certain sentiments in our community where people are taking tools you use too serious.
That's very true.
But what about when the pros say the wrong thing?
I'm quick.
Sometimes it happens, right? Sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
And Timbo did say, don't use Logic for vocals.
Because it doesn't sound
as good. Sound right.
Yeah.
And as a young upcoming producer, I'd be like, this is confusing as hell. I'm going to go tell my friends that.
Right.
Because that's like a reputable source of information.
Right? Very true. And that happened, and that was, I remember that, because then everybody was like, oh, and there was a million think pieces on that, and it stirred up a conversation. But you know what I will say about the internet? I'm thankful that when something like that does happen, immediately, it's like we kick into overdrive and the information starts to flow and go.
That's the thing. Even in some of our peers, right? Where there's a lot of hot takes from different people. Like some people will say, somebody said, yo, this is why you should only use certain companies and not try to branch out into some of these smaller companies, because when things switch up, then you'll be in trouble. Or some people that say, hey, how about you just learn your stock plugins and figure it out? Yeah, it's like there's no one way to do this.
No.
And that's Yeah, there's no one way to do it.
You know how it works?
I don't care what the standard is. The standard will always be redefined. Why? Because over time, things change. And even in pop music, right? I look at it right now where we're in a space where Max Martin was the standard for years, right? And Dr. Luke was the standard for years. And I feel like we're in a switch now or flip. Maybe I'm wrong a little bit, but like I'm seeing this switch of Phineas and John Bellion kind of becoming the new this is what the sound is.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I mean in the sense of, whatever the standard is cool, but had Phineas not cared about what the standard was at the time, he maybe wouldn't have became what the new star is.
But I think that's what innovation is at every level of every industry of every. It's always someone breaking the rules, right? Where it's like, well, they told me I wasn't supposed to do that, but please let me introduce this podcast. I really appreciate it. This is the My Audio Nerds podcast, the podcast for audio nerds like yourself. Please make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Also, please make sure you leave a good comment for us right now in the comment section right here, so you can get that free version of the VIP Gold Edition Rosetta EQ. Now, my name is Devvon Terrell. I'm a Pro Tools user, which has been the standard for a long time. But not only is it a standard, I just love it to death. It's okay. I'm not a bad person. Doesn't make me bad. To the right of me,
debatable. My name is LJ. I produce, record, master, and mix in FL Studio.
I ain't gonna lie. I don't like the master. I don't like that. Master and FL. I don't like it.
I make my beats with Avox Duo on the master.
That's right.
And I bounce them with Master Plan on the master.
Oh, leave Master Plan out of that plan. Leave Master Plan out of that plan.
Master out of that plan. That's a bar there.
To the far right of me.
You already know what it is. It's your boy, Double A, 2 A's, the Ableton activist. You know, I be out here. I'm repping. I have to stand my lines on the front ground every day. Fighting Timbo. I don't like what our amazing guest, which we will introduce in a second, definitely just quoted from you, man. You know better than that. Don't become one of these people that I comment back on, Timbo. Come on, I expect a lot more from you.
Timbaland is gonna say, Courtney, shut up. You gonna say yes, sir?
He's definitely looking at this episode just like, bro, I know you had like a couple of my samples from that pack and that. You better stop.
What's your favorite sample rate to work in?
You already know, man.
That clip is going viral, by the way.
48 kilohertz. Also,
Mr. 48. He's first 48.
Mr. First 48.
First 48. The first 48. But guess what? You know who I'm not better than?
Who?
Mike Dean. Who I just realized y'all like to come for the younger, like more smaller crowds. Because when Mike Dean made that tweet a year ago saying, I knew it. All DSPs are going upsampling and lossless quality. I knew my 192 kilohertz mix and masters was always going to come in handy one day. And none of y'all dare spoke a word against Mike Dean because he's the what to y'all? The God. So guess what? Leave me alone.
Mike Dean said something that I didn't like recently. I just want to say it quickly and then we're going to introduce it.
For sure.
He said something to the extent of, y'all really using our bass on y'all 808s? How about y'all just find a good 808, something like that?
Oh, that's where he said that? That's where that post came from?
And then Metro, like a bunch of reputable people
said,
were in the comments like, shit. I was like, so what?
I don't care.
Does that matter?
I don't
use our bass. I've never used our bass. But does that matter? Like
in that session, real quick,
you're tripping, by the way.
In that moment, real quick, like Levin sent that to me, and I had a great, like I shared it on my story, and I had a great comeback. And whoever, if it really was Mike, please argue me on this.
Well, he co-signed it, so that's as good as saying it.
I would like to.
No, I got you.
Introduce.
Okay, let's introduce our guest first.
The guest,
because I want to get his opinion on this too.
For today,
let's do it.
You freaking nerds.
Okay.
The
Audio Nerds podcast. Lock in.
I have the pleasure and privilege to introduce our friend. Right? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. A content creator, someone that I've known for a very, very long time. Someone that we've been trying to get on the podcast for a hot minute.
For real.
You got to catch him because he be country hopping and stuff like that. You know, this man is
he's dope.
He on a world tour.
He's on a world. Facts.
Delta Sky Miles look crazy.
Look crazy for this man.
Elusive.
Facts. He's been to places like Medellin. which he told us about, which I want you to talk about too. Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, I got Fabio from the Noize London channel right here. Fabio, just clap it up for my guy right here.
It's an honor to be here.
So I want to say this to you, okay? And I brought this up to you a few times before. You were the reason why I purchased my Prism Sound Titan. And I brought that up to you before because that's how I discovered you on YouTube. You posted a video of like the Prison Sound Titan versus, I think it was a UAD. I forgot what UAD interface it was.
UAD Apollo 8.
Right.
Not the X.
Not
the
the
gray
X.
one, the black one.
Right, the black one.
Yeah.
And I remember watching the video, and because I was looking at Prism, I was like, you know what? I want a really high quality interface. I was like, I just want to set myself apart. I just want to get into like, you know, a converter or interface that I'm like, I don't need to buy a converter ever again. So I watched your video, and for the first time, I started to understand the difference between like, all interfaces really aren't created equal. Like, of course I've known this, but literally to hear those sonic differences as far as how you delivered it and stuff like that really changed me. So what I noticed was when you showed me the Prism Sound Titan, I just listened to the low end. Like that's what really caught me and how well it reproduced it, and thus it made me buy it. So as far as you is concerned, what is your DAW journey? I want to know what was your first DAW and how you got to the one you got into now.
You remember when cereal packets used to have toys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do they still do that?
No.
They don't.
Not that I've seen recently.
They don't do that?
I think it's like
don't see
illegal now
recently.
because you can't market to kids or something,
that
right? Is
kind-
it something
yeah.
like that?
Oh, maybe that's it on the other
You
side.
can't market to kids?
Like you can't market sugary things to kids
Yes,
anymore
for
by
health
like
reasons, yeah.
by like trying to get them in with toys.
Yeah.
I know in the UK, I think that's the case.
Probably in the UK, but probably, us.
Here we
Americans, we're terrible.
We still got Happy Meals and stuff.
Facts.
Happy Meals.
Yeah.
Anyway, I could be wrong on that. But
Look how
anyway,
much better they are.
they didn't say anything about marketing to music producers when we were younger, right?
Right.
Right.
EJ360. Does that ring a bell?
No.
I'm going to look this up right now.
EJ360 Extreme was they had a series of software, and I think the 361 was a music one, and it was essentially a DAW where you could mix audio loops and video loops together. And they gave me the CD, came with my box of Frosties cereal. Right? I was like, all right, okay.
And you just was like making
Had my Dell computer,
right.
stuck the CD in, and I was like, oh, this comes with 8 loops.
Holy crap.
I didn't know what loops were, but I
Right.
discovered that day.
Right.
Right. I was like, loops, okay. I was like, oh, I can move these around and
Right.
rearrange them. And
Right.
I mean, I have musical background, so I was like, okay, I understand song structure.
Right.
And then figured out where the export button was.
Right.
And then went to school and I was like, are there any rappers in here? Because I was making
I make
hip hop
beats.
beats.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
making hip hop beats.
Right.
Not very good ones.
Right.
But, you know, I was making.
Oh, good. You was a kid.
And then I was like giving out these hip hop beats to my friends, and I was like, yeah, I made that.
Right.
That was a sense of ownership.
Oh, this is dope.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah. That was a big deal. You were selling
Yeah.
you were selling beats and stuff like that back then.
Yeah, and I was
looks
like,
so dope.
this is amazing.
This came in a cereal box?
This came in a
Yeah.
cereal
That's
box.
Fire.
Had a whole
What a
like,
wild-
had a
Can
whole
you-
like
have you got it
CD
up?
and packaging.
Can I see that?
They won't show me the screen, but like this is dope. Like they show me the
This look like a
packaging. of this.
Mixcraft box.
Yeah, I knew you. I was like, what dog this look like?
This looks really dope.
like
I'm
a-
not gonna
Wow,
lie.
this does look like, yo, I remember CD-ROMs. Remember this? This is crazy. So, okay, so then you went from there, right?
I've never heard of anyone ever using this, by the way.
Yeah,
So
no,
sometimes I'm like, is this a dream? Like, did this actually happen?
Blast
No,
from
it's
the
real.
past. Oh my goodness, this is dope.
So what was after that?
So after that,
Imagine he says, I still producing that. I'm like, wow, this guy's amazing.
Legend.
He's
the last one on
The
there.
last one.
whip out the Dell.
Yeah, it's right here.
So after that, I started working with a music producer, and he was using like what must have been Logic 7.
Okay.
Wow.
I remember seeing this thing and thinking, I was a singer-songwriter at the time, and I remember seeing him make music on this DAW. I didn't know it was called a DAW at the time, but in the studio, he had the KRK
Right.
Rocket V something, and I was like, this is so cool.
Right.
Like, it wasn't like a mega studio,
But
but
it
I
was
was
just
like,
so simple.
it was
Right.
so simple.
Right.
And he was using Logic 7, and I could see him doing a bunch of stuff. I had no idea what was going on.
Right.
But I was like, this is dope.
Right.
I love this.
Right.
Then at school, I learned Cubase.
Nice.
Okay.
And at the same time, I got signed to this, like, we call them pop factories in the UK. I guess it's like, you know, Dr. Luke, Max Martin, and so they have their camps.
Oh, you call them pop
We call them
factories.
pop factories because they
Okay.
are quite literally like houses outside of London or stationed outside of London, and
Right.
you could go and put yourself there. It's basically people have done really well selling records when
Right.
people could actually sell records.
Right.
They set up these like it's like a country estate.
Gotcha.
But then they turn everything into a studio. So the pool house is a studio, the garage is a studio, the main house has 2 studios in it.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
And everyone was using Logic in there.
Right.
So I was working there. I was working, you know, weekends there, vacation, summertime, whatever. Like it was
Right.
amazing. So I didn't know how to use Logic and I didn't know how to produce music, but I turned up and they're like, oh, cool, so you're a singer-songwriter. I was like, I also produce.
Of course.
Flex.
EJ360. Shout out. Shout out Frosties.
Shout out Frosties.
And they're like, oh, what are you using? I was like, Logic Pro. I was like, but my computer broke.
Of course it does. Of course your computer
My computer broke. And like, oh yeah. I was like, not working anymore. I was like, can you guys just hook it up for me? Because I was like, I saw these studios. I was like, they can hook up a computer.
Somebody can hook me up, right? Yeah.
So I got them to hook me up with a computer and Logic.
Nice.
And then just stationed myself in there.
Right.
And they're like, oh, can we hear what you've been up to? I'm like, no. I'm not ready yet. Really, I was just trying to figure out how to use Logic. I was just teaching myself. And this is like pre-University of YouTube. Do you know what I mean?
Right. This was back when there was no one giving us any tips, tricks, tutorials, nothing. Yeah.
My dad knew more about YouTube than I did at that age. I was 15. So this is 17 years ago now.
Right. Wow.
So yeah, there was nothing really there. There was a book on Logic.
Right.
I wasn't going to sit down.
Yeah, no one wanted to see like Command S does this.
The Apple Encyclopedia.
Wow. Right. So basically, to this day, are you still, what are you in now?
I'm still in Logic.
You're still in Logic. Yes. We got another Logic user. Can I say something about our Logic users that we always say? What is the stereotype we always say? They're the most poised and the most
got their lives together.
Yeah, they just have their lives together.
I take that back because Swag been killing me lately.
Swag? What Swag did?
So every time I get on the phone with Swag, he like FL. Like he'll just make it.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, Swag be coming at everybody when it comes to like FL and stuff like that. So for you, right, primarily, I'd say you're like you DJ as well. What would you primarily say you do as far as music is concerned? Of course.
Can we hear your DJ journey?
Oh, yeah.
That's interesting.
Okay. Yeah. Can I just quickly come back for a second and say that on the surface, Logic users look like they have their lives together. on the surface.
But if you look in the code.
Yes. But if you look further down, we also all use Ableton because we know creatively it's a very superior tool to Logic.
You just gave Courtney all the fire.
I'm just Logic users, comment down below if you agree. If you agree.
They will.
I think
what?
I think Logic and I think the L in Logic is for lunatic. I think
yeah, okay.
It's almost like, is it a delusion or something? Like,
what?
Ableton?
Is it a delusion using it?
No, like Ableton, like being a superior DAW.
Your DAW is called Fruity Loops. Grow up.
That is a cereal.
That's like, you found that in the breakfast cereal too?
Which they got in trouble for and they changed to FL.
Marketing.
What? Marketing what?
Look at what whack name you have, Pro Tools. Professional tools.
That is literally an amazing. That's literally an amazing
professional
name.
Tools.
Bare minimum.
Pro Tools.
Who has the best name?
Why'd you look at me? Why'd you look at me?
I know it's not Studio One.
Why'd you look at me?
It's not Studio One. Studio One, that's not the best name. Cubase is hard.
Cubase is fire.
Say what you will. I don't care. Mixcraft is a hard name.
Nah, it's not. No, it's not.
Mixcraft.
It sounds like Merlin the Wizard.
You're crafting the mix.
No, I don't
Your
like it.
Your mix is crafty. I'm here with him on that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You know who had a good name? Cool Edit.
No, it's not. That's trash.
It's a very misleading name, actually.
Pro Tools, Cool Edit, and Studio One are all in the same
That's not true. Pro Tools is a good name. You're lying.
Audacity's a good name.
Audacity's a good name. I'm not gonna lie.
Guys,
Logic
EJ360 Extreme.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
I'm doing backflips and I'm making music.
In 3 dimensions.
How have we forgotten about it already?
It has extreme in it. Yeah, you know who has the sexiest name of a DAW?
Who?
Magic Sequoia.
Sequoia. I'm not gonna lie. It sounds like isn't there a vehicle called the Sequoia?
I think actually
that's kind of fun.
Little e-commerce.
Luna is hard.
Luna's kind of dope
too.
I like Luna.
You like Luna?
Like a virtual assistant.
To the moon.
To the Luna. So back to what you were saying.
Yes.
As far as your DJ journey, I'm dead interested. You're actually the first DJ we've actually had here.
Okay.
And we've been fiending like for a DJ, like really just wanting.
Second.
Who?
Amorphous.
Oh my God, that's right. To my guy Amorphous. Shout out.
But yes, please.
But he's from the other side of the pond, as they say.
Across the pond.
Across the pond. You know what I'm saying?
It all happened at the same time as music production.
Okay.
I was just really into electronic music, and I was like, okay, I want to learn how to DJ. Drum and bass was the big thing.
We're the same age. We're the same age. Yeah.
And dubstep, and I want to say British dubstep.
Okay, got you.
Influenced by reggae and reggae dub.
That's right.
Dub reggae sounds.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
not. I mean, I like American dubstep too, but it's a different thing.
I was in Florida when it came out, so I learned about it like very like in the scene. Like you had to be in the scene to get some dubstep music, right? For sure. But I didn't know like it was like I didn't know like it was over there on that side. Like as far as like y'all cultivated the whole sound, I just heard it. Like it was starting to get big in America for a while.
Yeah, so I don't know why the UK has like a big. I don't know the history behind the Caribbean diaspora, but that brought in lots of that influence. Yeah. And from that, this kind of amalgamation of electronic music and dub reggae music found itself in a very famous nightclub called Fabric. If you come to London, I will take you all to Fabric.
Let's go.
And Fabric is one of the most famous nightclubs in the world
I've heard the stories.
They put their subwoofers in the floor.
Whoa.
Like this. And I remember seeing this on the news when I was 12 years old. I didn't even know what a nightclub was.
Right.
And it was on the news. I mean, 12, 13, they're like, Fabric, famous, da, da, da. They still have those subwoofers in the floor. They probably upgraded them now.
Sure.
But the sound system in there is like, you don't have to take anything to be in that club because you feel like you're on everything.
Right. This is awesome. Yeah. That's awesome.
It's insane. And it's still going now. Still one of the most famous nightclubs. But when I went to... We call it sixth form in the States. It's what's after high school. Okay. 16 to 18, 15 to 18.
Yeah, that's high school for us, yeah.
High school. Everyone's like, have you been to Fabric? Have you been to Fabric? I'm like, I like drum bass. Like, you have to go to Fabric. I was like, the cool thing. You haven't been to Fabric, you're a loser.
You're a loser, right?
You're a loser.
You've been to Fabric?
I was like, I haven't got my fake ID. They're like, don't worry, just send a check to this random address. Because I got fake IDs back in the day. You would send a check to someone online.
This is dope.
And it would mail you back something?
And it would mail you back like an international ID, which doesn't exist, obviously. This is before anyone knew about like...
Right.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. Right.
This is wow.
Shout out whoever was doing that on the internet. I don't know who you are, but you must have killed it back in the day.
Oh my gosh. They probably bought 4 houses and everything right now. They're well invested.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So eventually made it to Fabric.
Okay.
Heard that sound system without earplugs, of course, because that wasn't, a thing
that wasn't a thing.
That also wasn't cool at 15.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no.
And CDJs weren't a thing, right? They existed, but they were so primitive and they were very expensive. Right. So buying turntables, direct drive turntables, you got belt drive and direct drive. Direct drive was what you wanted for, full control.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to save up. I'm going to get some direct drive Stanton turntables. Technics was the
was the top tier.
Was the GOAT. Right? It was the top tier, and then Stanton was what you.
Yeah.
Oh, did they still exist? They still doing stuff?
I haven't seen that. Sure. I haven't seen that.
Yo, my guy would love this conversation.
Stanton.
He used to be a fan of Stanton. Like he used to have a lot of Stanton gear back in the day.
Wow.
This is insane.
This is a throwback.
So you was using Stanton. Was that like the mid you got a good quality turntable? Like was it like that?
Yeah, it was. They were. I mean, they were great.
That's dope.
I love them. Yeah, they were great.
Okay.
And then a very famous drum and bass, well, actually a jungle. Jungle was for pre-drum and bass. DJ called Nicky Blackmarket had a record store in Soho, which was a really cool area back then. It's still cool, but it's just not the same.
Right.
And
in the UK?
In the UK, in London.
Okay, yeah, in Soho. Okay,
Nicky Blackmarket had a record store underneath a music store, music kit store where you could buy like KRK rockets and
like the
interfaces were like the M boxes back then.
Right. That's my time.
Right.
Yeah.
You went down the stairs. Right. I was like, had my pocket money with me, and they had, I don't know, must have been about 6 turntables lined up. It's like a bar, but with records. And you go in, you're like, oh, I'm looking for this, or I'm looking for that. He's like, have you heard this? Have you heard this? Have you heard this? They put in a little tray, and you sit there and you play the records yourself with your own headphones.
Oh, wow.
And you listen through and then you say, okay, I'll take this, this, and this.
Right.
Like $12 a record or something. And that's what I do like, every other week.
Right. That's what kind of how we had it back in the day too. Like you would have like, I don't know if you remember the Virgin store. Was you around?
Oh yeah.
Remember when the Virgin store was like a one-stop shop? Like every time there was an album release and stuff, everyone would go to the Virgin record store in 42nd Street, Times Square. And the artists would always come through, make an appearance, sign some CDs, and then dip. But you could also have these little stations where you can just like preview music and stuff like that and kind of get a vibe and like, okay, I'm gonna buy it and stuff like that. Shout out to buying CDs and buying music. I miss
physical
that.
age.
You would scan the barcode of the CD, right? And then you could listen to it. I remember this.
Yes, you could.
Wow.
Yeah. You could scan it and you had the headphones and you could listen to it. And you would just go to Virgin Record Store. So sometimes me and my friends after school, we would literally just go to record stores, just listen to music. Yeah, and that would be it. That's crazy.
And that's what I would do on the weekend, but they had the Virgin Megastore in central London and they sold guitars and guitar amps. I was bands when I was younger.
Okay. Wow.
So we'd always go and pretend we were going to go buy a guitar and then play all their guitars in the store. And it's like, that was a weekend activity because we were like broke kids.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to play music really loud and annoy people.
Yeah.
You know,
and just like, bang on shit. Heck yeah. What you saying?
No.
Oh, I thought you saying something. So as far as what? By the way, your turntable's at my house. You need to come get it.
Oh, I'm picking it up today.
What is it? What turntable you got again?
So you want to hear my DJ? My DJ.
Oh my god.
You got your DJ story?
Timeline?
He DJs. Yeah, he DJs as well.
My DJ timeline, right? So I was younger.
I didn't ask you your timeline. I just asked you what turntables you had.
I'm a co-host on here, so this is my.
Tell us about your DJ journey.
Yeah, I asked myself.
Okay.
Like I was a guest.
Okay.
So I started with I know I wanted to like try it at least. You know what I mean? So
DJ.
So I would virtual DJ with the laptop.
Shout out to virtual DJ because I was there too. Yeah, virtual DJ. You ever use? Okay, all right. We all
virtual DJ.
We've all been in there.
I ain't switched from virtual DJ till maybe like 2 years ago tops.
They got the job
virtual
done.
DJ got the and they were the first one with the stems. If you know, you know.
Virtual DJ got the stems.
They had stems before
Everybody.
You can separate stems in virtual DJ.
Yeah, and the way they had it was instead of it being on the pads, it was in the knobs.
Yes,
so
sir.
you could literally like take a little bit of the vocal out, or it was dope.
Whoa.
And they still have it. Their stems they sound better than Seratos.
No way.
Absolutely, I'll bet that.
I would like to experiment with that because I heard Serato's is insane. And please, Serato, and shout out our guy. I forgot his name. But shout out, I got Serato. Please, can I have it in Pro Tools? Oh my gosh! Like, can I get
Serato sample?
Yeah. Can I want it in AAX? They don't have an AAX format, which is like, come on,
That
like
hurts.
it hurts bad because I can't use it.
But yeah, I started with like a Newmark Party Mix.
Okay.
Party Mix. It was like $100 joint, and then I upgraded to. I remember I saved up. I did like my first 3 gigs, and I got like $50 each on that, and then I just had money saved that I was gonna save for like mics and just production stuff.
Right.
I ended up getting a Newmark Mix Track 3. I still have it to this day. No, Mix Track 1. Mix Track Pro. Fire. Cool. And then I fell off from DJing. Came back, and then I got the Pioneer Rev 1. This is recent.
Okay.
I hated it. I returned it.
Which one is the Rev 1?
Rev 1 is like the battle style entry level one.
Okay.
And I hated it. It had like the pads in the middle.
Has it got the fake vinyls? Is it that thing?
Yeah. The Rev 7 has like it turns as well.
Okay.
But I hated it. I genuinely hated it. So I switched over, and I needed a new entry level or mid level type one. So I got the ones that I have right now. The Hercules, and I'm a big fan of what Hercules is doing, but they do a lot of it's all digital stuff. Okay. So they don't do the actual vinyl joints. It's all mid-entry, beginner DJ stuff. But the one that I have is the Impulse. It's the Impulse 500, and it's great. I think it was the highest tier at the time.
Okay.
I love it. I use it to this day, but I'm about to upgrade. I heard Pioneer bought Serato. And
that's a big purchase.
I thought it was the other way around. So Pioneer bought Serato?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Pioneer bought Serato, or their parent company, you know that.
Right. Who knows what it is.
But Pioneer bought Serato, and I'm about to switch over to this Serato. It's the FLX. It's a new line that they have called the FLX line, where it's more like creative stuff.
Okay.
So they have like this merge effects thing, which I think is a gimmick, but it has auto.
I heard about that scratch. Like it's
auto
like auto scratch.
Where you
I heard about
to touch
that.
the crossfade. It's all gimmicks.
Right.
But I like it for like a good. It looks like a great mid tier one, and I don't want to go all the way to like a $1,200, $1,700 like Rev 7 or FLX 10. So I'm gonna go to the FLX 6. I like it. It's like $700. It's nice.
Did you see the Opus?
Oh yes,
it's like a piece of furniture.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this question: as far as like a mixer being $200, right?
Yeah.
And then you go into a turntable being $200, and then a turntable being $1,200. Like, what do you price wise? Like, what is that difference? Like, as far as like what you think would be better?
Like a vinyl, an actual vinyl turntable.
I guess,
or like a digital,
like a digital controller one, right?
I don't think you could find a good vinyl turntable now.
Because Pioneer. Did they buy Technics? Did they acquire Technics and then they made their own version? I don't know.
You see, it's one of those.
Okay.
Yeah. But in that price range, I feel like everything under 300 is dang near the same, unless you get like the mini mobile ones. Okay. Because a lot of people are iPad DJing now. Yeah. So they make like controllers for the iPad. because they're really good iPad, like algorithm DJ. Like there's some really dope pro iPad DJ joints where you could connect to Tidal and just.
I've heard about that, but I always was scared about that. I always was scared about that with internet connections and stuff like that, right?
It's killed me like maybe twice.
Yeah, where you lose the internet connection and now you can't the song doesn't play. But let me ask you something about this. As far as saying iPad DJing, I'm a little confused on that. Like, what do you mean?
So, like, imagine your computer screen.
Right.
When you're DJing, you rarely touch your laptop.
Right.
Well, I rarely touch it. I usually just use the search knob on whatever controller I'm using.
Right.
Same thing. It's almost like a display, but it's a different form factor in a sense.
So basically, instead of using your laptop, you're using like
an iPad. And if you want, you can unplug the controller.
Right.
And try to scratch on the screen. I don't know how much luck you
That's
have
what I was thinking you're saying. Because can I tell you how ignorant I am? You ready for some ignorance? In my head, you said that you can DJ on an iPad. I thought to myself,
you got two
iPads. So I got two iPads. And I was like, who's doing that?
Nah, but as far as like what you get, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but what you get when you upgrade, I think under $200, you're just getting like the little mini stuff or just iPad type things.
Okay.
Under 500, you're gonna get a 2-channel, very basic. It'll have effects, but nothing hardware wise. It'll just be everything software.
It's still a MIDI controller, essentially, isn't it?
Yes, basically.
Basically, just a MIDI controller. And my question is: does it work like an audio interface? I'm really like not ignorant, but I'm really like dumb to like DJ equipment. I'm not into it at all. So does it work like an audio interface as well? Like is actual analog outs coming out of that mixer?
You do have analog outs coming out of it, so you can record and you can plug straight into Instagram Live, for example.
Right.
So it does have that functionality. It's so cool actually to see where DJ equipment is now because back in the day, to buy DJ equipment, even with turntables, right? You're committing to a pair of turntables that might be $500 for like basic ones back in the day.
Right.
And then every time you want to buy records, you get 2 songs for $12.
Sure.
Oh, that was expensive.
It was expensive. So, but you could not afford the CDJs, right? Because the CDJs at the time were $1,000 a piece minimum, secondhand. If you could find them on eBay.
Right. Yeah.
Wow. So you're like, wow.
Was the CDJs a really big evolution though? Because in the back of my mind, I think about back in the day, we used to have the MP3 CDs, and you could load you could load a crap ton of songs on those. So if you could afford it, would you still say it was worth it if you could afford it? Because you could have all that music digitally, as opposed to crates and carrying and stuff like that.
Yes, I think. I eventually when I was 18 got a major label record deal, and one of the first things I bought was CDJs.
Gotcha.
Because I was just like, I love DJing on vinyl, and I had Serato on vinyl too.
Okay, gotcha.
Shout out to my sister, by the way, who I taught how to DJ on Serato vinyl, and then became a better DJ than me.
Isn't it always like that? Yeah.
Like, just used to kill it. We used to do gigs together. We used to throw these hip hop nights at this club in London, and she would just play hit after hit after hit. By the time it came for me to play,
you ran out.
I know tunes left.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, I've been drinking by that point, so and no one want to hear my set, right? Yeah. So, CDJs it was the convenience of having. You still had to burn CDs though, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I was thinking, it's a USB. No, it wasn't.
It was burned. I had to get a Roxio Easy CD creator for me, and I would have to literally take that CD and burn it, and then you would pray to God that it played. You were like, please be it good, because sometimes it would mess up.
So y'all about to put me on game because.
Well, you don't know what we talking about?
I know what a CDJ is, but I'm born in 2003.
3, right.
My CDJ, like, I use CDJs, yes, for club setups.
Right.
But I'm plugging in a USB. So that's what it is. So you're telling me CDJ is derived from
actual
CDs.
CDs.
And picking your records?
Yeah, bro.
Y'all made it out.
Barely alive.
Barely. Dude,
I'm proud of
honestly, the fact that I could have this one CD in my hand and that'd be 500 songs, that was groundbreaking.
What is this MP3 CD thing?
It was a thing. So there was remember, let's do this. Whoa. So some people are gonna remember back in the day, there was a bunch of different formats of blank CDs. There was CDR minus, CDR plus, then there was CDR RW. Like there was a rewritable.
Rewritable, yes, I do remember that.
Yeah. So I used to always buy the RWs because it just in case I wanted to go back and change something, I could. But then you had CDR negative, which it was harder to play in certain things.
Yeah, certain
plus was more like widespread, like for players and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. So when it came to CDRWs, I think there was something called an MP3 CD, like specifically. I could be so wrong, but I remember getting like a CD that was like, oh, this is an MP3 CD. And I would literally just put a bunch of, I could load it with just music. And I could have like a bunch of storage on it. I think the biggest CDs were 60. What was the biggest the CDs were, space-wise?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Oh, tapes were 60 minutes. That was like the thing, 60-minute VHS. And then it was 120. But I forgot what the space usually was for CDs.
I remember you could put like 12 tracks on a CD, usually.
But yeah, there was a time, I think it was based on time,
was,
like 60 minutes, right? Okay, so I think it was 60 minutes.
Yeah, it was minutes.
Yeah, it was 60 minutes. And then we upped it once we got into like Blu-ray, then it became a whole, the game changed.
Sure.
Like, it became like 4.7 gigs.
What
really happened was Napster and LimeWire came out, and they were like, people are downloading a lot of music. We got to make an MP3 CD.
That's right. And that was it, See, and that's what the evolution was. And I used to be the guy to burn my CDs for people. So like I had the multi-writer, like the CD writer, and I could burn like, so I don't know if you know, like have you ever seen one where it's like you got like 6 slots of like disk drives, right? And I had a program connected to my computer, and basically I would put like 6 blank CDs in, and then I go, this is the project. Like it was like you made a project and said, all right, do this to these 6 CDs, and then you wait and sit there for them to cook, and it was called burn.
Devon, off the record, were you selling that shit?
Hell yeah, what? Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I'll tell you what innovation looks like, because
I heard it right here.
Innovation is me going on Amazon.com. Right? Buying for $80 a little Crucial 1 terabyte SSD.
Yeah.
Throwing a bunch of FLAC files on it.
Lossless, everything.
And just having 30,000 songs in my backpack.
In your backpack.
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you what's even better. Me upgrading my MacBook to a 4 terabyte SSD.
Disgusting, by the way.
And just having a terabyte dedicated to just music, just in case.
Yeah.
Which is in the day when you could.
Yeah,
upgrade when it was modular.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Facts.
I think it's wild. Isn't it wild to see like now a lot of DJs at parties and clubs that I go to, as far as my friends, dude, they just walk in with a laptop.
Yeah.
And I just go, man, do you
look where we came from?
Remember back in the day, if you could get on a DJ's like good side and be his crate like holder kind of guy, that was like a big thing. You know how many stories there are of you as the crate boy, like for the DJs and stuff like that?
That's insane.
Now, I had a booking last week. Shout out to my boy Canvas, did his birthday party uptown, and a guy came through and said, yo, how much to play my song? Right?
Whoa.
I was going to hit him on the side like, yo, you slide me a little cash out, what it is. But I just say, yo, what's your song? Just type in your song.
Right.
And just threw it into title. And
it came right up, and that was it.
Yeah, and then he wanted to perform it. And can I tell you the story?
What?
So he wanted to perform this song, and obviously it's I hate rappers that perform over their track.
Yeah,
but I don't have his instrumental, right?
You should.
So he took the microphone, he started rapping, and I'm like, yo, I can't hear you over it. So, I'm a DJ, and we got Serato stems, so I dropped the vocals for half a second. I dropped the vocals.
What a cheat.
I took his vocals off.
Hold on.
And he is rapping.
No.
And the death stare he gave me for literally 1 second, it was a 1 second, and I put it right back, and
Hold on 1 second. Let me ask you this question. So you're telling me in Serato, right? You have the MP3, right? And it automatically, the algorithm automatically separates all of the instrumentation, vocals, and things of that nature. Yeah. And you have access to go mute the vocals?
Yeah. I could delay it out. I could low pass it.
You're lying.
Every song that I load in, I can have it set to automatically stem out, so that if I want on command, I could drop drums.
You could drop the drums?
I could. So that's how I be doing. Yo, some of these mixes, I throw Lil Mama's lip gloss drums.
Look at what you guys have access. That's insane. You know how hard it was? I remember, shout out to my guy, DJ Ty Boogie. at Power 105, I remember he was so popular for his mixes. Like he was very good at syncing things and changing, kind of like Amorphous, but he was very good at that. He used Ableton, by the way, which before I even knew what it was, like Ableton has always been, and coming to this, Ableton has always been to me
forefront
of DJs.
Yes, sir.
Like back in the day.
That's what I started with Ableton.
That's you started with Ableton too.
Yeah,
so anytime I would see Ableton, I would immediately think DJ. And this is back in like 2000. Like this is early years. Like anytime I see somebody, like I just always assume a DJ is just using Ableton. I had a friend years ago, and this was my first introduction like to understanding DJs and stuff like that. I remember we were in college, we're all broke, but he was saving his money, not eating for like months. And I was like, what is he saving for? He's like, I'm getting my DJ rig and I'm gonna kill this campus, gonna murder this thing. And I was like, all right, bro, whatever. Like, all right, good, you're gonna get a DJ rig. And I was like, I didn't even understand what he was gonna get. So it finally came in the mail, and I never forget it. It was something called Tractor.
Native Instruments owns Tractor as well.
Didn't know.
Wow.
And I remember looking at that, and he had a Rain. I think it was a Rain. It was a Tractor. I think Tractor was the whole hardware and everything. And I never forget. He was, of course, he was excited. We came in my house because I had a house off campus. He plugged everything in, and I never forget. We were there for like 3 days wasted, like just like this is insane. Like he's switching songs and changing things, and I totally understood that. And that was a really high quality piece of equipment back then. Like that he had that. Like, that was nuts.
The S8, I think, was the big, or the S4 or something was the big.
And it's still like proprietary. They do all of it. I think just now Pioneer just put out the first one, if not ever, in a very long time. First Tractor controller in a long time, not made by Native Instruments.
Oh, wow.
I think the last time Native Instruments made one was pre-pandemic. So, so that FLX6, the one I'm actually about to cop, I might test out Tractor to see like what's going on.
Pioneer, me and LJ would love to try out some of your equipment.
Absolutely.
Maybe or maybe not the Opus.
Hit
Pioneer
in the comments.
We gotta talk about the Opus before we do that. Man, Amorphous kind of inspired my DJ style because once I got back into DJing, stems made it fun. And that's what made, because DJing is great, and I don't call myself a DJ. I don't even have DJ in my name. I just say, yo, it's LJ, I'm mixing, whatever. Because that's an art, right?
It is an art
something
form.
that I haven't
It's a
mastered.
sacred art.
I'm not a scratcher, none of that. But I know what record to play at the right time.
Right.
And DJing, the simple, basic of it is time.
Yeah.
It's counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, tempo, matching, all of that.
Right.
And my DJ style that I think really makes me stand out is my way of using those stems and really combine, like making the mashups live though. Like on top, I'll do something, I'll be like, oh, they don't even know.
No, I just did that and mixed
I'm
that
gonna
up.
throw this.
You did something nuts at my block party, I just want to say.
What
you did something nuts.
Oh, like
when
just
we was like play some like Latin music, like change it up.
Oh, I'll play.
And we all were sitting there like, yo, you're about to mess this whole thing up. We was like transition into like more Latin music, right? So he's playing something, and what did he do? I ain't gonna lie, that was good. He was playing like hard hip hop, like, and then all of a sudden he hit us with the Despacito. I was like, oh, he's good. He's the voice guy. It was like the remix too. So it was still in English. So but it brought that swing in, and I was just like, oh, good job. So as far as like your process and stuff like that with DJ, I know you DJ'd a lot of different places everywhere and stuff like that. Like, what's been your experience like with that as far as your genre? Because the kind of music that you, I would say DJ, would you say is more EDM heavy, or like what is that kind of world like?
I think I've been through so many different phases in my DJ life because I'm just like a lover of music, right? It's just never been, I never wanted to feel restricted to DJing one particular kind of music. I started with drum and bass on vinyl.
Right.
Then I started playing electro, which was like early EDM. So I'm talking like what came off of the back of Daft Punk.
Right.
There was a big, there's a guy from New York, A-Track.
Yes. Oh yeah. Sounds good. Okay. Wow. Yeah.
And he was part of this, like, he did that big record, Barbra Streisand, with Duck Sauce.
Duck Sauce.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my gosh. I love that record.
We saw A-Track live.
I think so.
Probably in there.
Somewhere.
I love that record.
Big, right.
So there's like electro movement in the UK, and then that shifted into the progressive house, Swedish house mafia. And then everyone wanted slick back hair and wear black. You know?
And be edgy
cool
and stuff.
And edgy,
It was wavy.
Right.
Oh, my gosh.
So I kind of shifted with that, and I think as that kind of came into the scene, that's also when I shifted to CDJs, and that's when everything kind of went that way. And vinyl was, well, I wouldn't say left in the past, but it was left to different DJs, right? Different styles of music, right? It was definitely like Serato was being adopted a lot more by hip hop DJs, but at the same time, I loved that EDM music, but I didn't play that when me and my sister used to run this night together because I was like, it's just not that fun to dance to. You can jump up and down and you can do this, you know.
But to dance and groove and vibe to, it's just,
like 90s hip hop R&B is always going to be superior. Always, still to this day. To this day.
Just grooves.
Yeah, it does. It does. And I think that the dance music scene is now changing. So I was then doing deep house in 2013 was the next big movement in the UK.
I
was happy.
That's when I was in college. That's when I was into college in Florida. So that's why I know, like, for
Shout
sure.
out MK. MK's from Detroit, but he was like such a big part of that deep house scene. And then London and the UK have this amazing way. I don't want to say London. Just London, because obviously it is the whole of the UK.
Got you.
But a lot of stuff happens in London. I'm from London. I experienced it there. But the UK has a great way of curating a lot of those genres. And then America has a great way of promoting them.
Yes, for sure. You're absolutely right. You guys make a lot.
You guys have some of the brightest musical minds.
Like,
of all time.
My God. Do you know who Eminek is?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I haven't heard that name in a while, but I know what you're talking about.
He does all the flow stuff? Every flow record.
Oh, he's doing it? Oh, I didn't know he was doing that.
That's all him.
Dude, I worked with him before.
I
worked with him, but a long time ago.
Right.
And he was just like the sweetest guy. Crazy voice.
Right.
Crazy voice.
Wow.
What's the song?
What song?
I will never forget you. Even though you've been by my side.
Oh my God!
You know.
I can't remember.
It was with Zara Larson.
Yeah.
I remember. I see. Yo, dude, I literally see the title because I know Zara Larson. She had a few big songs, but she had one big one in particular.
All of our best writers now, like Justin Bieber. My favorite era of Justin Bieber was when Ed Sheeran was writing everything.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know what's crazy about the UK and stuff like that? My publisher, for the life of me, the only sessions that I get in is over in London. Like, I'm talking about from Afro beats to freaking house. Like, a lot of the sessions she always puts me in on Zoom and stuff like that, which that's what makes me go, I gotta get out there. The diversity of music that I'm getting into as far as just being with my publisher, writing for those people, it's so wild because I'm like, where the hell is this in the States? Like, I always tell my publisher, I'm like, hey, can we get some like American like sessions going? Like, because I'm always over there. Like, and I've never been, by the way. Yeah, no offense to us, but I've always been on that side. Kind of way. Audio Nerds in London? Okay, yeah.
We're going to go to London. We're going to go to Fabric.
Oh no, we're going to Fabric.
Yeah, we're gonna go.
It sounds super fire.
I want to feel my shirt rise up from the floor.
Facts, my shirt rise up.
Imagine testing a mix in Fabric.
Yo, nah. You might everything. Can I say something? You're probably gonna be like, this sounds amazing. Yeah. Are you nuts?
That's facts.
Like, come on, bro. You can play an Audacity mix in Fabric. It'll slap.
Let's relax.
So one last thing I wanted to kind of bring up with you. And I don't get this chance to really talk to many influencers, right? Like people that really make social media content. Because I'll tell you this, and I don't know if I told you this before, and we'll wrap on this. You were the one influencer on, and I'm so glad you're here. You're the one influencer, I'll say, that really made me believe in this podcast format. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
When we started the podcast, I kept saying, okay, how do we promote this? You know what I mean? Like, it's really hard to get people to buy into 30 minutes or an hour of talking, right? And this is the audio industry, so it's like not a thing, right? Which is weird that the audio nerd community doesn't really have a podcast, right? It's like, that's silly. Like, we do audio, we don't talk. When I seen you start to make that transition on Instagram, and I remember sending it to them and going, fam, there's an audience. Like, I genuinely, and y'all know, because I genuinely was like, there's an audience. Because I seen your clips just cracking. And you were like, hey, y'all, I know you know your little thing you do. You were to go real slow. I'm going to show you blah, 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 real slow. But seeing that repetition and seeing how big you were able to grow that audience on Instagram really let us know, like, oh, there is an audience here. And just, that's when we really started to like kick it up and to really figure out this podcast. So I just want to say, one, thank you for what you did and what you do. Because I don't think, see it like this. If you think about like a Jay Dilla, for instance, right? Like that makes beats. I think when you're in it, you don't realize that you're innovating and changing things, right? So it's the same thing when I look at someone like you. It's like, yeah, you're just doing it, and it's like, yeah, it grew to this, but you don't realize the impact those types of things has. And thus, by inspiration, it gave us inspiration, and thus we're all making this impact. So I just want to say, as far as a content creator, dude, just kudos to you on that, because that was a really big deal for me. I'm so serious. It really showed me like, oh, this is possible and stuff like that. And then just lastly, you know, what else you got going on? What you got coming up?
Where'd you get those glasses?
Oh, the famous glasses, dude. Yeah. Like, just, you know, just let us know and just share with the audience what you got coming up and stuff like that. I love for them just to be a part of what you got going on.
Just quickly, right back at you. When I saw your podcast, I was like, I want to be on that bloody podcast. I want to be on this podcast. And I'm sending it to people I know, and I'm like, this is what a podcast should look like in the music space. This is what it should look like. You know, that people who are excited, energetic, enthusiastic, sharing banter, you know, like, these are my favorite conversations. This feeds the soul. And I hope that, like, everyone else feels the same way. And if you don't, then I don't know what, you know, you shouldn't be in this industry.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, But this is, honestly, thank you so much for having me, because this is like, I've been looking forward to this. You know, I'm the fanboy here.
Right. We appreciate you, dude. Like, you know, we appreciate it. We've been trying to make this happen for a long time, like since NAMM and stuff. But we're just gonna wrap on that. Again, like, Fab, seriously, thank you so much, dude.
Where can we find you?
Please.
Where can we find you?
Like,
Do you want me to answer this glasses question?
Oh, yes, please.
Oh, yeah, please. Yeah, please. Come on.
I will reveal where the glasses are from when the sponsors get back to me.
Yeah, smart man. In my head, I was like, you better add a little, like, something to that. Don't let them.
Do you know how many of these I could have sold for you?
That is.
Do you know how many people ask me daily?
True. You know, we're gonna fight for it. I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna fight for you. Don't worry. I'm gonna get my editors to clip up some stuff, like fight for the glasses, like fight for Fab. So this has been the My Audio Nerds podcast, the podcast for audio nerds like yourself. Please make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Also, make sure you follow our lovely guest, Fabio. And then also, please make sure you leave a comment so you can get that VIP Gold Edition Rosetta EQ. Also, remember, you can join our subscription service as well.
Facts. I just put out an interview. Talking to my guy Sam about master plan.
That's a fact. You did.
And like the with God part. It's only behind the paywall.
Behind the paywall. Go check that out.
For sure. And I just want to say thank you and shout out to all the people that are our diamond audio nerds. Like, that's insane. I just want to say shout out to our golden audio nerds, our diamond audio nerds, and our platinum audio nerds. It really, really means a lot.
Like a month in, right? So I mean, the black discs just upgraded.
It got time. You know what? To be honest, I think if you get to a black disc, I think we should have at least see them at NAMM. Like, agree to be like, oh, we link with you at NAMM.
Oh,
if you get a black, whatever the following year, we gotta link with you at NAMM.
So you can get free VIP.
For sure. If you get a black disc, we'll figure that out.
Black disc is the first one, right?
No, black disc is the end.
Oh,
that is the final gauntlet.
Nah, you know
first
what
one is like it's like the whitish silver one. I think
you know what we could do, and I'll definitely get Image Line to like really like actually really bangs with y'all.
What?
Black disc. We're gonna make the first 10 printed Chef LJ necklaces, chains.
Yo,
that is hilarious and disgusting.
I'll buy that. I'll rep it.
You waste money. We are out of here.
I definitely do.
We're getting out of here. Thank y'all for being here. Comment, like, subscribe. We're out of here, y'all.
Cool.
All right.
We did our DJ episode.